What's up, chums? Sharky here, and welcome back to the Shark Bites podcast.
Hello, I scared Jehovah's Witnesses off my front porch by accident earlier.
Great intro. We got Vesper in the house.
I have not. Hello. I haven't really done anything today.
So today we're going to be talking about Twilight, everything Twilight Saga. But first, how are y'all doing today?
It's hot in my house.
It was hot. It was hot in my apartment, but I had to get my air conditioner fixed. It was broken.
And as
I've been pretty good.
As I just said, I accidentally scared
I've been pretty.
Witnesses.
Yeah, what happened with? Did they come up to your door and you just showed up in cosplay?
Okay. Okay, so I'm at the back of my house getting my cosplay on to make stupid TikToks, as you do. And I hear bang, bang, bang. I'm like, what the fudge? So I walk up there. Keep in mind, I have a wig cap on. And I have most of my makeup on. I even have this little curved smile on. And I open the door, and they look at me, and they turn and quickly walk away.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, oh.
I guess that's one way to do it.
It's my dream. Yeah. It's my dream to, if I ever get Jehovah's Witness at my door, I just want to answer the door in full fursuit, just ring.
See, I've never had that experience. I've never had, anybody come up to my door and, solicit. Not anything religious. It's usually...
I haven't either.
You want to buy a chocolate bar or something?
Yeah.
It's usually kids.
We get, people knocking... Oh, yeah, we get people knocking on our door and they leave, cans of soda. I don't know. I think they're from some kind of religious group, but I'm not sure. Or, some kind of local government thing.
That's a new one. Cans of soda.
That's weird.
Yeah, and they always, I refuse to drink those random cans of soda. My brother did one, but he said it had, it tasted like can. Tin can.
Speaking of can of soda, I got that new Coke Starlight. It tastes like nothing and cotton candy.
I've heard it tastes like raspberries.
I hate it and love it.
I've never had it. I've had a very busy day today. So I don't know how much I told you, Vesper, but I was telling Kalani that I've been getting all the things in place for this new job that I think I pretty much nailed. I had 2 interviews, and then I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and then I had to do my drug test today. So I had to leave work early, get that done, and then I had to run to the post office and take something back to the fish store, and I was just running all over the place today. But
oh yeah, I mean, hopefully you get the job. Usually when they make you go through all that, you're pretty much a shoo-in for it.
That's my thought. Yeah, I don't think they would put me through that if they weren't gonna hire me.
Yeah.
Alright, should we get started then?
Why not?
Alright, who wants to go first?
Sure thing. It all started when I was in junior high.
It's like a documentary.
Or a therapist appointment.
I guess the best way we could do this is maybe just take turns. So you can just talk about how you got into it and what you like about it. Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? Things like that.
Alright, that sounds good.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, Kalani, you go first.
Okay, fair enough. A million years ago when I was in middle school. That's what it feels like, at least.
Honestly,
Basically, there's this person.
Yeah.
It was just like in school I was with. They were just like, "Oh, hey, have you read the Twilight books?" No, I've not heard of it. What's it about? They told me. So I got one from the library, read it. My parents bought me the others. I never finished them. I got all the way to Breaking Dawn, and that one was just a pain to read. But
it was very
that
long.
was when the movies started coming out, so started seeing those.
So you just like stopped reading the books and started watching the movies instead.
I kept reading the books. Just once I got to Breaking Dawn book, for some reason, that one it was just like,
I don't blame
why
you.
am I still reading these?
That one was excruciating.
Hmm. So I'd just go see the movies.
Yeah, I ended up reading them all twice.
I'm so
What?
sorry.
Who has the patience for that?
Listen, I had a hyperfixation.
I mean, I know what that feels like, but reading a book twice is just out of
Yeah,
my.
I I would not be able to do that now. I can't even read books that I consider my favorite books again. So
Yeah.
I don't know what junior high me was on.
So, I guess I'll go next. Um, I I'm not really I never really was like super into reading, but I did used to read like Goosebumps and Fear Street mostly when I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, all of my friends were reading Twilight, but I wasn't really like getting into it yet, and this was before the movies came out, so I was kind of like I was looking into it, but like at a distance. I was like, oh yeah, that looks interesting, I guess. And all my friends were like super into it and reading all the books and everything. And I think it was my freshman year of high school, right before the movie, the first one came out. I was like, all right, if these movies are coming out, like I might as well read the whole series right now. So I literally binge read all of them right before the first movie came out. And I loved the movie. I was obsessed with it after I saw it. I was a Team Edward fan when I was in high school. Not gonna lie. But like my feelings have changed since then. I think I'm more of a 50-50 now. I like them both, but that's my story. Story of a Twihard.
Alright. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have like similar experiences with Twilight. The Twilight experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'll go next. So as I said, junior high. I had a similar experience. I wasn't too into reading either. Like I used to, but then I'm like, nah.
You not into
But I did
reading?
read.
What?
I I know, but I did read this book about vampires called Bloodlines, and I was like, okay, that was pretty good. And then uh, the funniest thing is, it was my brother who read the Twilight series.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you should read Twilight." he kind of suggested it before it started getting big. He's like, you should read Twilight. I've enjoyed it. It's pretty good. And then it like blew up, and I was like, well, now I gotta read Twilight. So I read the first book like kind of as the movie was releasing onto DVD, I believe, because I remember my mom wanted to get the first movie to watch. So I was like, hold on, I gotta read the book first.
Yeah.
So I read it, and I just had to get each one, and I ate them up, and that kind of activated my love for reading. And I don't think if it wasn't for Twilight, I don't think I would actually be aiming to be an author myself. So that's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I was also Team Edward in the beginning. I'm like, yeah. And, you also know that, I was super obsessed with Twilight when I got my cats. So
Yes,
I
yeah.
had the cats, Edward and Jacob. I only have Edward now, though, but he's still. I forget he's named after Edward from Twilight, though.
Can
Yeah,
we
I
can we just
don't consider.
agree?
Oh,
Can we just agree that like the height of the Twilight craze was surreal?
it was. Oh my gosh. Like, me and my mom went to, like, the premiere of, I think it was, like, Eclipse.
Mm.
Either New Moon or Eclipse. And there were so many people that they had to, like, corral us behind, like, behind, like, I don't know, the like, ropes they use at movie theaters. They had to corral us all behind.
I just remember
And it
like
was just.
I remember
Well,
like the shirts at Hot Topic and like the bags and pins,
yes.
everything.
Yeah.
The
I.
sweetheart candy.
I will say
Oh,
Twilight
yeah, I think.
got me shopping at Hot Topic.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely I was definitely going there a lot during that time. I remember that.
Yeah. I think I had, like, a t-shirt for each movie.
I was like, I have to buy all the Team Edward merch right now.
Same. And it was a interesting time.
Yes, yes, it was. Iconic, even.
Yeah.
I feel like other movie franchises haven't had that kind of success. Like, I know people say, like, Harry Potter is, like, really close, but, like, I don't think a movie has ever pitted people against each other so hard.
Yeah, because it's like I'm okay. I'll say
Yeah.
I am
There
not.
were fights.
I will say like
Oh.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but
Me
it seems like
neither.
for the most part people are like, "Oh, this house is better. This one's better," but they're all still very civil. But with Twilight, it was like just fist fights and your character sucks. This one's better, and it it was
And they were
terrifying
like,
looking back.
and I can't remember what they were called, but it was like the Twi Moms or something. There's like a group of
Yes.
like older women that were like feral over Robert
They were
Pattinson.
they
It
were like
was weird. It
40-year-old
was
women.
wild.
40-year-old moms.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that. They were making like t-shirts and stuff
I
that
do.
said Twihard Mom or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. It was just a surreal time, and also like I just feel like there hasn't been any book series since that kind of era that's really taken off. Like,
Yeah.
there's been the Hunger Games and a few other things,
It's
but they
not the
kind of
same
stopped
though.
getting big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's no one going feral for the next big book series.
Which is kind of sad, like, that they're not really making anything like that.
Yeah. And even like when I read Midnight Sun, like, because it came out in recent years, like, it felt kind of hard to get through for me.
Yeah. Do you think that the Twilight
Mainly,
Saga do you think the Twilight Saga would have been just as popular if it came out like in recent years? Like if all the movies and stuff came out more recently, or do you think it's kind of a product of its time?
yeah, I definitely think I think it's a product of its time. Like, I don't think she could have gotten away with some of the stuff he did
True.
now.
I feel like it would still
There's
be
there's a few
popular,
things that are.
What, Kaylani?
I feel like it would still be pretty popular, but not to the extent that it was.
I mean, it did come back a little bit with like the
Because
meme.
if you think about it,
The Twilight Renaissance.
Twilight was very popular, and so was the whole vampire craze. Like, those happened at the same time, and I don't think the vampire craze
Yeah.
happened because of Twilight. So I think those two things together, and just a bunch of hormonal teenagers obsessed with both, it just blew up.
Wasn't it around the same time as like the zombie craze?
I feel like the zombie craze was just
Yeah.
starting and picked up around like the second or third movie.
Because The Walking Dead came out in
Yeah.
2009, which I think was
Oh
a
gosh.
year. That came out a year after the first Twilight movie, because the first Twilight came out in 2008, and then after that, it was kind of like The Walking Dead and like Warm
I feel like
Bodies and all this zombie
Yeah.
stuff.
I feel like the zombie craze really picked up after the second or third movie of Twilight, because that's when that was starting to die out a bit, and that was the next thing picking up, because then we were flooded with zombie movies.
Go ahead, Vesper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think The Walking Dead like became popular like immediately. I think as soon as it got a second season, they had like a marathon of the first season into the second one, and I think that everyone kind of jumped on it from there. Because I was super into The Walking Dead too.
Me too.
So yeah, it was kind of this weird like gray area. It like one blended into another. Because I remember, I think, yeah, there's something weird going on there. I don't know.
Well, I remember, like, when The Walking Dead came out, I kind of got into it later than everyone else. I think season 2 was
Yeah.
already out by the time I got into it. It was like peak craze, I think, at the time.
I think there was just kind of like a revival of like quote unquote movie monsters, but like making them different
Making them hot.
than they
No, I'm
have
just
been.
kidding.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Do you guys remember,
People.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was like, yeah, people were like, we're tired of being afraid. We want to smooch things now.
We want to smash.
Becky, let me smash.
I was gonna say, do you guys remember Vampire Diaries and like some of those similar like TV series and stuff?
Yes. Yes, I also watched Vampire Diaries
Or True Blood?
for a
That was the
little
other
bit.
one. True Blood came out.
Yeah. True Blood gets a bad reputation, but I really enjoyed it. For the plot.
Right,
The plot.
I tried to sit down and watch it. I couldn't even make it past the first season though.
Guys, I swear it had a good plot. I think I can't remember it. But
Convenient amnesia.
I think what I think what True Blood did is every episode had like a cliffhanger, so you would be forced to watch next week's episode.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Kalani, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. It's okay. I think there's like a delay that like it's hard to tell who's talking. But
Yeah.
I just remember like when I was in high school, I don't think my friends were as into it as I was. I was like absolutely obsessed with, I'd say, the movies more than the books. Like I had read the books, but I really liked the movies' portrayal of everything. And I would say I know we rewatched all of them during COVID, and I think like
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite Twilight movie is probably New Moon, probably, or the first one. Although I will say, watching Eclipse again, I appreciated it more that
Oh my gosh.
when we
Yeah.
watched it rather than when I saw it for the first time. When I watched it for the first time, I really didn't like Eclipse, and then we watched it again, and I was like, actually, this is pretty good.
I definitely think like the ending is like the best part of Eclipse, just the like fight scene stuff
Yeah.
towards the end. But yeah, like the first movie is definitely has its charm because of the lower budget,
Yeah. It's iconic.
but
Like,
also yeah, it's like the blue tint.
yes, the blue filter on everything.
Yeah, like like the other day, it was kind of rainy and just strangely blue outside, and I was like, Twilight!
It's
And
like
I
that.
start singing that song.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like that
Yeah.
meme. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite
But,
then? Your favorite one?
ah, probably, I gotta say the first one, probably. I, hmm, the first one. I will say that during our, like, rewatch, I realized the Breaking Dawn movies are really boring.
CGI
Especially,
baby.
yes, that and part 1 was mega boring where they're just talking and like meeting other vampires.
They
Oh,
could
I
have
think
made it
that's in
more
part
interesting.
2.
That really? I thought that was part of part 1.
If it was like
Yeah,
no,
no, part
part one
one's
was
the,
them.
like, wedding and
Oh.
her being pregante.
Pergananant. What were,
Greg.
what were you gonna say, Kalani?
I don't remember.
We were talking about Breaking Dawn, the movies.
Honestly, both of them are my least favorite. It was neat in Breaking Dawn Part 2 getting to see the different vampires and their powers and stuff. Because it did really expand on the universe in a way,
Yeah.
sort of. But the first one, I'll be honest, her wedding dress, ugly. Uh, the whole thing, it's like, okay, they're married. Wow, this is really drawn out and boring. This is really a movie. And then
it
it
was
gets
slow.
exciting right when it's like, oh no, she's gonna give birth, and then doesn't it like cut off or something?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think.
I don't know. I think my brain blacks it out. I think my favorite's a tie between New Moon and Eclipse.
I think Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2 had their moments that were really interesting, but there, like you said, there is a lot of padding and a lot of filler where it's just like,
And
okay,
a lot of filler.
can we get to the next thing, please?
Yeah, because it's like, I don't wanna watch Bella and Edward make out for the millionth time and have softcore porn on the screen. Can we move on to
and
something?
break some heads.
Honestly, I can't watch that without laughing every time I see that scene.
I can't even.
It is funny.
Because when you read the book, when
Yeah.
you read that part of the book, you're imagining it in your head. And my imagination was so much different than what they did, like, in the movie. I don't know.
I've read better fan fiction than that.
Honestly, me too. But
Yeah,
I totally agree,
yeah.
though.
Breaking Dawn. Yeah, Breaking Dawn's just an interesting. Chuck Esme.
Chuck Esme, yeah. I can't
That
believe that
doll.
we're gonna use a robot at first. And then, which was
Yeah,
already
but
creepy, but then they were like, no, we're
yeah,
gonna do even creepier CGI, baby. Like, what?
honestly, the robot might have been better because that CGI aged really terribly.
Yes, yes, it did. I had to shield my eyes. I'm just, I'm just thinking though, like, CGI is, it's an edit, it's not a crutch. Like, you can't, I'd rather people just make small edits with CGI instead of making the entire thing CGI. Because
Like
you can
the
tell.
wolves look good.
The what?
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
werewolves looked good.
I
But
thought
like
so.
animals and CGI are easier to pull off because when you start doing humans, it leads into that uncanny valley stuff.
I totally agree with that. And that's where they lost it for me, because I was just like, they could have done this so
Yeah.
many other ways. Like, even if they would have just got a real baby and maybe just like change its eye color or something, that would have been better
Yeah.
than
Or
having an
like
entire robot or a CGI baby.
yeah, or like several children since Renesmee ages fast. But like for some reason Stephanie Meyer didn't want a real child and wanted a CGI devil baby.
Yeah, I will never understand that decision. It's like everything else is fine. It aged okay, but that CGI is whew bad.
Mm.
Kalani, what do you think?
That CGI sucks.
Yeah.
Do you think that they should do remakes?
No.
Mm.
Like with new
Uh,
CGI?
for any of the movies and stuff, genuinely, I don't think it would do as good, even if they stayed like perfectly true to the books or an exact scene by scene of the movies, like whichever. I don't think it would hold up with how things are today. I don't think it would do good, even with the big Twilight fans.
Vesper, what do you think?
I mean, I mean, if they remade it, like, I wouldn't care either way. But if they did, I feel like I would still go to see it to see what they did different or what's up. But also, I feel like it would be hard because they'd have to get new actors.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at this point, everyone sees Robert Pattinson as Edward, and then uh, Bella Swan as or Kirsten Stewart as Bella Swan. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it'd be hard to get new actors for the role and not be like, this is off.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be like how, honestly, to me, a lot of movies now, it's like you gotta have the tall, pretty blonde or dark haired girl, depending on what they're trying to pander to. and they gotta be super skinny. Unless we want to pander to the plus sizes, then she gets a slight curve, and they're just gonna do that with it and be like, look, diversity, and it's Twilight again. Love it. Because they do that with so many remakes anymore. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm just kind of tired of it.
I gotta say, Robert Pattinson was way less emo than I was expecting. Like, after I read the book, I was like, oh, he's gonna have like long hair and be really angsty and cool. And not that I don't love Robert Pattinson, but like it's just not what I thought.
He genuinely looked like he was in pain throughout the whole first movie. Like he was held hostage on set.
Maybe he was, yeah.
Like,
Honestly, I think he might have been because every time he talks about that, he sounds like he has so many regrets about being in Twilight.
No one hates Twilight more than Robert Pattinson.
That is a fact.
But I mean, think about the scene when Bella walks into the class they have together, and her and Edward, and how he just like cringes so much.
It is a meme now.
Yeah. Could you imagine if you walked into a room and someone just like covered their nose like, oh no? I would honestly be like, oh no, do I smell?
Like sniffing your pits and stuff.
Some of the scenes, it makes me wonder, like,
Yeah.
what was the director saying to guide them through the scenes? Because, if not, there may have been one actor who read any of the books, and that was probably after the fact. So they had no idea what was going on. They just had the script, and the director's guiding them, like, okay, she walks in the room, smell like you have to look like you smelled the worst fart ever and cringe like you're in physical pain. Go.
Honestly, I was thinking about that. Like there are some scenes that are like really poorly acted or just like mundane. I almost wonder if Stephanie intervened a lot and like wanted creative control over certain scenes, but it didn't do well. Like it kind of she made it more boring in parts.
Maybe she's the one who did Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Like the diner scene with Bella and her dad.
Oh,
And
where she just shakes the ketchup and nothing comes out.
Yeah, stuff like that was so boring.
That reminds me, in Twilight, when Alice and all them are sitting at the table and Edward's not there at the lunchroom table, have you ever like looked at what they have sitting on the table?
No. I don't think so.
Rosalie has like a block of cheese, and they set a little carrot directly on the table for Edward. And they just had the weirdest things just sitting directly on these nasty schoolroom tables.
Yeah, I remember someone on TikTok mentioning that I think Emmett just has like a large freezer bag full of eggs.
He took the whole bag. Oh my gosh. I just remember like Edward like picking something up and then throwing it back down on the table.
But going back to like the director stuff, because it's really weird how much of a like I don't know what to describe it, like a miracle story that Twilight is, because so what happened is Stephanie Meyer, she had her dream, wrote a book based off of it, immediately got it published, which does not happen. And then the director of the first movie, I believe, one day she just picked up the book, read it, and she's like, I want to make a movie out of this. And it all happened in the course of like a year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were just like, let's do it.
I do. Yeah. So I do feel like definitely the first movie was very, it had its low budget, but I do think Stephanie Meyer had more control, perhaps, in the first movie. And I
Yeah.
think she gained less control until, like, the last couple of movies. Because I think in the Breaking Dawn movie, she was, like, a producer or something.
Yeah, I remember like
So, maybe,
reading something about
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So maybe the weird stuff is just her.
But like you said before, it kind of adds that charm to it cuz the other ones aren't as like I don't know how to describe it.
I feel
Not
like people mainly remember Twilight and then one or both of the Breaking Dawns. Like, you know of the other two, but they just kind of blur together because
honestly,
they're a bit
yeah.
higher quality than the other two in a way.
I always remember New Moon as the one where Bella gets depressed. That's all I remember. And the werewolves. We get to see the werewolves. But in
Yeah.
I totally forgot what happened in Eclipse until we rewatched it. Cuz I forgot all of it. Eclipse is like that
Yeah.
weird one in the middle.
They
Yeah, it's always been kind of like that too. Even the book, it's like, I'm doing, like, when I said I reread it, it's like, I have to get 3 clips now.
It's like
For
filler.
some reason, it's like, yeah, definitely.
like I kind of liked that one, but also I hated it because I hated how Edward and Jacob were just like, "How dare you love him? How dare you love him? Love me? No, love me. I'll kill myself." Like, come on, guys,
I
be
am
fucking
hotter
mature.
than you.
Yeah.
One line that everyone
At that
remembers
point,
from that.
yeah. At that point, she should have just left both of them.
Yes.
I
Let's
kind of
be
Get with
honest.
Alice.
Like, let's be honest. Supernatural qualities aside of being vampire and werewolf, were the guys even that great? Like before Jacob became,
No.
werewolf Jacob, like he had some personality, but Edward doesn't really have a personality.
I didn't like Jacob in the first movie. I
It's
thought he
pers-
was really
yeah.
wishy-washy.
Yeah, but he didn't really get too many scenes, I
Ed-
think, in that.
No.
yeah. Edward's personality is brooding.
He has the
Yeah.
personality of
And,
stale
like,
bread.
yeah. And you think it's not that bad reading it from Bella's perspective, but when you read Midnight Sun, it amps up Edward's just
Angst.
broody angst to the max. And I'm like, I do not like this character at all. How was I ever Team Edward?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I haven't read Midnight Sun, but I can imagine what that would be like.
I don't think I want to know
Yeah,
what
the
Edward thinks
only.
throughout all
Yeah,
that.
you do not. The only, like, thing I really liked about Midnight Sun is when Edward was kind of like talking about his past with Carlisle, because it was more interesting seeing where, like, how he and Carlisle kind of lived together before they met the other members of their family.
Okay,
But the worst part is,
that reminds me. Okay, so this is a genuine thing that I've thought about. Do you think Twilight would have done better as a TV series instead of a movie saga?
Hmm.
ooh,
Because one of the things that kind of irritates me is we don't really get to see a lot of like Bella and Jacob growing up together, like building that like
yeah.
foundation of a relationship. And in New Moon, he just seems kind of all over her like all of a sudden, and it's not very like gradual, I guess.
I feel
And
like
then
depending on how they went about it, it could be a really good TV series.
and like what Vesper was saying, like Edward's past and like well and everybody else's past too, like they kind of touched on it in like Eclipse and stuff, but they didn't really like build it.
And
That and they
And
left out a lot
in
of it
the
from the
original,
books.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, in the original Twilight book, they touched upon Alice's backstory, but since the first movie was shorter, lower budget and stuff, they just kind of didn't bring it up at all. So in later movies, we got everyone else's backstory, but not Alice's, and which her backstory involved James. So, like, I do think a TV series might have been better to kind of
I would
go
have wanted to
into
see
more
that.
details.
Yeah, I would have
Yeah,
wanted to see that.
I will say,
yeah.
from what
And
I vaguely remember, Alice and Jasper were a much better. Yeah, Alice and Jasper were a much better couple than Bella and Edward.
Honestly, yeah.
And Alice was actually
yeah,
the reason why I cut my hair short. Because
yes,
I had never seen short hair on a girl that I liked, because it was either like older women or stuff. But I saw it on her and I was like,
yeah.
I could pull that off. And I went from having hair like halfway down my back to shorter than my shoulders. And it's never gone back
I
since.
still just love. Yeah, I just love Alice's whole vibe. Yeah, but
What were you
what was
saying
I gonna say?
about like the backstories and stuff that we were talking about?
Oh, I don't, I don't know. Just because like a lot of the backstories and just the side characters in Twilight tend to be a lot more interesting than Bella and Edward in the
That
main
is a fact.
storyline. Having
Yes.
Yeah, like a TV series based on books, I actually, in my personal opinion, sometimes they tend to be a lot better than movies, and sometimes even better than the books they're based off of.
Yeah.
So I think a TV series would have actually worked because they could have dived into side characters and stuff, or just like make a TV series about Carlisle. I want to watch a show about a vampire doctor.
I would even watch a TV series if they just made it about Renesmee and Jacob,
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
like a
As long
continuation.
as they don't, as long as she's not, CGI.
Yeah. Let's see. It's about we got a few more minutes here, about 10 more minutes or so. Um, do you guys remember when the Burger King toys came out?
Nope.
Yes,
There was a
yes.
commercial with
I
like
had
two
like,
old ladies that were like Team Edward and Team Jacob.
That hurts my soul.
oh, it's so weird because like if I clean my room, I'll find Burger King Twilight toys, and I'm just like, it takes me through a whole crisis, and I'm like, that was a thing. I lived in this timeline.
They didn't do it for any of the other movies. They only did it for Eclipse.
It was weird, honestly.
Like, when
I
did it
think they
become
had
a
like
kids thing? I don't know.
it wasn't. I don't think it ever was.
I know, but Burger
Burger King
King
just wanted to. They
capitalized.
wanted our money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted that good, fly hard money. Because let's be real. The Twihards were like, we gotta go to Burger King now.
Yeah, to get all the merch.
Oh, and I had this weird I had so much merch. I had this trivia card game, and I could answer every single question. It was kind of sad, honestly.
I
I
think,
can't now because it's just out of my brain now.
yeah, I don't think I had like any quote unquote like weird merch, like just, I guess, odd things, but I did used to buy the sweetheart candy like the forbidden fruits or whatever it was called. I
Yeah.
used to buy those
Yeah.
like every week. Like I would go to the mall and get a box cuz it was just good. I liked them. But
Yeah.
I was trying to collect all the boxes at one point. But I had multiple
Oh. Yeah.
Edward t-shirts. I had a Team Edward like tote bag thing and a poster. I had like two Edward
Yeah.
posters. I'm trying to think. I think I had a Team
I
Edward necklace too.
yeah. Yeah. I have some of that stuff. I also have an Edward doll, like a Barbie doll.
Oh my goodness.
But okay, the thing about that doll though is my grandma got me that doll for Christmas one year, like 10 years after Twilight was popular. I don't know where she got it, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want this.
Goodwill. She probably found it at
Probably,
Goodwill in like a
yeah,
bargain bin Barbie thing.
yeah. I still have it though.
I've been looking at like every once in a while I'll search Twilight merch on eBay. Some people are selling stuff for like thousands of dollars on there.
Oh dang! I guess that's where the money's at.
Yeah, like if you
Quick,
have
find your old merch, everyone.
yeah, if you have like old merch like bracelets or t-shirts, like they're going for like $100 or something like that. It's crazy.
Oh
That
my gosh.
that hurts. I threw all mine away.
Oh. I don't
That
really
hurt.
have any left either.
Where's my Burger King toys? Hold up, I gotta find
could
them.
I could be sitting on a gold
I gotta make,
mine.
yeah, I gotta make the big bucks. I do have far too much stuff. Oh, that reminds me. When I visited Oregon for a wedding a few several years ago, we went to this like the tallest waterfall in the USA, and they filmed Twilight there. They filmed like some scenes around that area.
Ooh,
Yeah,
lucky.
I was like, ooh, look. I was like, ooh, look, it's the waterfall from the credit sequence.
Twilight lore.
Yeah, I walked where they walked.
The lore. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
we were going to go to we were going to go to the restaurant they went to, but we didn't have time. I was
Aw,
sad.
yeah.
Yeah.
I still have the soundtrack
So,
on my phone.
yeah, I kind of. Oh, yeah. Hey, the music was good, okay? I don't blame
Yes.
you. I still have the CDs
Can we agree that the
when
music for
CDs
Twilight
were
was
a thing.
banging?
At least with the first
Yes.
movie, it was really good.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Supermassive black
New Moon
hole.
music was. Yeah. The music in, like, New Moon and Eclipse and stuff was just kind of slow and depressing.
Yeah, fair.
And Eclipse, I have completely forgotten any of the music in it.
It's the same. I don't think I remember any.
Same with the Breaking Dawn, really.
I remember a couple of songs because I really like them, but, like, not, like, the whole thing. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I think
Like, I
I
remember this
only.
one song.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Like, I remember one of the songs. I think it was in New Moon or Eclipse. It's, like, called White Demon. I remember that song
Oh,
specifically because I also. Yeah, I remember that song because I was, like, writing a book, or I had a book idea that I was writing that was also called White Demon.
I think I have that soundtrack too. I think the only movie that I
Mm.
saw in theaters was the first one. I don't think I maybe New
Oh,
Moon. I don't think I saw the rest of them in
Yeah.
theaters though, because nobody wanted to go with me. Like my parents didn't want to go with me, and I didn't have any
Uh,
friends, so I was like, well,
I just went to the movies by myself,
I
and
mean, I
the
do
only one
now, but I didn't then.
I saw for a premiere was Breaking Dawn Part 2. And I actually got to see that one for free because I had racked up enough rewards apparently.
Nice,
So, because we got
nice.
our tickets like the
so,
moment they announced them.
oh, nice. Yeah, I was like the opposite. I was like the opposite because the only one I didn't see in theaters was the original Twilight movie.
Oh, really?
But I went to see yeah, because I didn't really know about its existence. But I went to all the other ones with my mom.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did she think of it?
Oh, she was just as obsessed with Twilight as I was.
What
So,
what team?
oh, she was Team Edward.
Now, my dad really
I
liked
think
the
I think
movies.
Your dad went with you?
I don't know if he went to the first one because I remember it was either just the first one or the first and second one. Because anytime I would get a movie, I would watch it in the living room, and they sat down. My parents were watching it with, and my dad just something clicked, and he was like, "I like this," and he would be like, "When's the next one come out?"
I can't imagine your dad liking
I think he was
Twilight.
almost a bigger fan than I was.
That's
Oh
shocking.
my.
He was If he had to pick a team, I think he was Team Jacob because wolves are badass.
That's
But
valid.
I just
Yeah, wolves really are badass.
I just vividly remember at the end of the last movie, he was like just looking around like, "What?" Just so shocked. And then it ended, how it just cuts to
Oh
black,
yeah.
and he was just like, "Is that it? Is
Where's
there
the
another
rest of the
movie?"
movie?
And I'm just like, "That's it.
It's that
There are no more."
scene from
Sorry. So then he got hooked on the
no.
Hunger Games.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I never got super into those.
I didn't either. Like, I appreciated the movies, but I wasn't like, "Oh my god, Hunger
Yeah.
Games," and
Same.
I I was into it, but I think because I was still riding the Twilight high, and I was like, I must consume more books.
I don't remember what I got
That was
into after
another. That was
Twilight.
another. Oh. After Twilight, I was still on the werewolf vampire high, and I read this book series called Shiver, which was about werewolves, and it became honestly my favorite book ever. I was like, this is way better than Twilight. The werewolves in that were interesting because they only turned into wolves when it was cold out.
I think I got really into manga after that, like anime and stuff. Cause I
Weeb.
only for a little while. Cause I started reading like my
Your
library.
weeb face.
My, yeah, my mainstream weeb phase. My
Yeah.
library only had like half the Naruto series, so I started like reading that and watching it. And then I think what's that other one called? Shaman King. I started reading that one.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was another. I think Bleach too was my third favorite that I was reading, but yeah, I had a weeb phase. Not a phase,
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah. I just. Yeah. I kind of bounced between the different forms of media after Twilight. Like in high school, or I can't remember. In high school, I think I was mainly into Wolf's Rain
Yeah.
which also probably kickstarted my anime weebness. Then it's like college was like I was super into RPG horror games, and I kind of discovered Markiplier and all those guys. Started
Same.
watching them, and
Yeah.
yeah, woo!
I
And
think I
then I
was a
would,
freshman in
yeah,
college when I found Mark. So.
yeah, I was too. And then I went to like Steven Universe, and then just kind of fizzled out from there. I've just been bouncing between different cartoons or anime, video games, and stuff now.
Now
I
I'm
don't read
just
as much
trash.
anymore. Yeah.
Now I'm just furry trash.
Yeah, same. Now I just dress up like an animal, which I also did in college. But
Alright, guys. Well, we got like 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to add? Sprinkle in here?
judge me not for my past interests.
I think we've all had moments, where we're like hyper fixated on like
Yeah.
either anime or some cartoon or a movie series or book series.
Yeah.
But
It's led
none
me to
of them.
realize
What were you gonna say?
it's led me to realize that my life has just been one strong hyperfixation after another.
Pretty much, yeah. That's been my whole life.
Same though. Yeah. Yeah.
None of my
I
obsessions
always
quite hit like Twilight though.
I was just gonna, yeah. I was just gonna say I just live my life perpetually scared of the next hyperfixation because I don't know when it's gonna hit.
It just happens to you.
It just happens. I'll just pick up like an app video game one day, like a dating sim, and I'll be like, oh no, this is gonna be my personality for the next year.
It just jumps you in a dark alley.
Yeah.
When you're walking alone at night.
Yeah. The pandemic, like during the lockdown, was just kind of a nightmare because I was going through the motions like I hyperfixated on Haikyuu, which was an anime for like the first couple months, and I started hyperfixating on like Obey Me, which is that dating sim app game. So I went from one to the other, and it kind of fried me out.
I mostly just bought pins. That was like my main thing.
I didn't have money. I
Yeah,
didn't have
well, I
money.
technically I didn't either, but I still found a way. I was working
Then
part-time,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Kalani, where are you?
I'm dead.
What were you doing during the end of the world?
Making soap.
Making soap and perler bead?
Yeah,
Yeah. And people
I
actually
remember
bought
the
them.
soap.
I still have so much soap left in my closet. Help. People don't buy it anymore.
Did you ask my grandma?
She bought it once.
Yeah, but I mean, she's probably out now. She needs some more.
Well, I'm not gonna reach out to her and be like, "Hey, you need a new set of soap?"
Fine, I'll tell her to contact
Buy
you.
my buy my products.
Buy my soap.
Help! I'm broke.
Please.
Please buy my soap.
All right, I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, yeah. I have to go eat Fazoli's.
Ooh, Fazoli is nice.
I'm gonna go back
The
to
food is here. I just got a text.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.